Mr. Court, please, my lord, we apologize for the delay in commencing with the proceedings this morning. Accused number 3 and 5 had to commission certain affidavits for the purpose of the application that they are bringing relating to their incarceration.
Yes,
The state calls the next witness, Brigadier Bongani Nicholas Gininda.
You remain under oath, sir?
Yes, my lord.
Brigadier, you are in the employ of the South African Police and attached to the court case unit.
That is correct, my lord.
Wasenzela isiphoyisa ungaphansi kwaleqembu elisenza enkantolo athi yebo.
You've already testified in the trial, within a trial in this matter. That's correct.
Yes, my lord, that's true.
Athi uleqiniso ukuthi ungufakazi kwe-trial within a trial.
And that can be seen from the record of the proceedings dated 27 November 2023, commencing on page 34 thereof.
Yes, my lord, that's correct.
Yebo kuyabonakala ukuthi kwenzeka lokho ngomhla 27 kuNovember 2023.
Your rank also appears on the record of the 27th of November 2023 on page 39 thereof, lines
Iyavela umhla 27 kuNovember 2023.
Correct, my lord.
lines
Yebo kunjalo.
lines 9 to 10.
That is correct, my lord.
Do you confirm the evidence that you gave in the trial within a trial?
I do confirm it, my lord.
Athi ngiyakuqinisekisa ubufakazi engabuletha ku-trial within a trial kusho ukuthi iqale ngaphakathi kwelinye.
Your career history appears on the record that we've referred to from page 39 onwards. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct, my lord.
Athi yebo kunjalo.
And in particular pages 40 and 42 of the record. This is where your career history is set out.
Correct, my lord.
Athi umlando webizelo lakho uyabonakala lapho.
On page 42 of the record, the mandate of the cold case unit is set out. Is that correct?
That is correct, my lord.
Athi kuyabonakala umsebenzi we-cold case unit ubekiwe nawo.
And on page 43 of the record, you deal with the date on which the current docket was allocated to your team.
That is correct, my lord.
Kubekiwe futhi nosuku lapho owanikwa khona i-docket.
And just for the record, can you once again repeat as to how many members does your unit consist of?
So, insofar as this matter, my lord, we are three, the investigators. That is myself, Sergeant Mokola, the female Sergeant Mokola, and Sergeant Mokane, currently.
Okwamanje ke sibathathu kusikuleli thimba eliphenya leli cala. Imina Sergeant Mokola ongowesifazane no Sergeant Mokane.
Now, on page 43 of the record, lines 5 to 6, you mention the date on which this matter was allocated to you. Is that correct?
That is correct, which is the 12th of November 2018, my lord.
Kubekiwe lapha ku page 43 ukuthi ngathola nganikezelwa ngaleli cala ngomhla 12 November 2018.
And just for the record, can you just mention the case number of the matter that the court is seized with?
So, yes, my lord, it's Phosphorus 636 of 10/2014.
Leli cala ke icala ithiwa uPhosphorus 636 of 10 of 2014.
Another docket has been mentioned in these proceedings that ran parallel to the main case. Is that correct?
Yes, I've heard about it, my lord. That will be Force 375 of 1/2019.
Tikhona-ke leli enye icala elijobelele kulelo First Orders 375 of 1 of 2019.
But in that aspect, my lord, maybe one should put it into context that that case 375, it's not a murder docket. It's a defeating docket that was opened by Warrant Officer Makubo as the complainant. The only murder docket of the deceased, that is Robert's Senzo Robert Meyiwa, it's this matter that is before court. There is no other murder docket that is registered out there.
Ngifanele ngichaze ukuthi uCast 375 of 1 of 19 akulona icala lokubulala. Icala nje elikhona lokubulala ka Senzo Robert Meyiwa, uCast 636 of 10 of 2014. Leli cala liqulwa lona manje.
You have already mentioned a name of an investigator who's associated with this other investigation, First Orders Cast 3751 of 2019. Is that the only investigator who's associated with that investigation?
No, my lord. There is also a Lieutenant Colonel Uthukuthele, who is also associated with the docket 375 of 1/2019.
Adikhona futhi noLieutenant Colonel Uthukuthele or sebenza kuleli cala Cast 375 of 1 of 2019.
Brigadier, can you, in your own words, give a background of what happened after you were seized with this matter that is currently before court, and also at the same time deal with how the other investigation, First Orders Cast 3751 of 2019, came into existence?
Yes, my lord. So, when we were appointed, my lord, and I'll go back to November 12, 2018, Warrant Officer Makubo as well as Lieutenant Colonel Uthukuthele were part of the investigation team. So I was appointed to lead the team, and then they were seconded to work under myself, together with Lieutenant Colonel Ramohala, who was part of the cold case unit. Is now since retired, my lord.
Uma sibukake leli cala mhla 12/11/2018 kukhona uWarrant Officer Makubo noLieutenant Colonel Uthukuthele ababeqoke ukusebenza kuleli cala. Mina ke ngangingumholi wabo, kodwa ke kwakukhona ke futhi nomunye uMkhale osekhotheme kodwa owayesebenza kulo leli cala.
So the cold case unit, which included myself, this Lieutenant Colonel Ramohala, female Sergeant Mokola, Sergeant Mofane, were basically in charge of leading this current matter, my lord.
Manje mina ke nola Sergeant Ramohala noMokola noMofane sasiqoke ukuthi ke siholeke ekuphenyeni leli cala.
Yes, but in terms of the appointment, the four of us, meaning myself, Lieutenant Colonel Ramohala, Lieutenant Colonel Uthukuthele, and Warrant Officer Makubo, were specifically designated to look into this matter, me being the lead investigating officer on the matter.
Thina ke mina noRamohala noUthukuthele noMokola sasicela ke nje ukuthi ke sihole uphenyo leli cala. Mina ke ngiwumholi waleli team.
Now, my lord, after I've signed for the docket and received it, there were theories when we were briefed, maybe a theory when we were briefed in terms of receiving the docket, that there seems to be a suspicion that the shooter or the person who killed the deceased in this matter was inside the house, and it could not make sense to the management as to why the previous investigation team and the others that were there could not address that matter. In other words, deal with the people who were inside the house. So that was part of the briefing that we got to say, look into this matter. This is the information that seems to be running around, and you need now to see if you can get to the bottom of it. Of course, if it is true.
So ke kwakukhona ke nombono ukuthi ke
My lord, the witness is referring to a theory of which maybe it needs to be unpacked, whether it was the investigation that revealed that evidence or it is a hearsay evidence through the investigation. Because, my lord, if the witness says after signing the docket there was a theory that a person who shot the deceased was inside the house. So the objection is on the fact that it must be cleared whether it was part of the investigation which led to that theory, or it was the hearsay, or it's the evidence they had. As the court pleases, ma'am.
Well, I'm baffled by that objection. Well, it's already on record that there were two theories, and the witness is just merely rehashing the mandate that was given to them, and I think the objection is with respect premature. The witness will deal with all these aspects.
Why do you say it's hearsay evidence?
My lord, I was saying because I do not understand the theory, what the theory is. My Lord, that's why I was saying, at least if it can be unpacked, that it was as a part of the investigation or part of the evidence they had as investigating team, my Lord, so that one will understand whether it amounts to a hearsay or what type of evidence, my Lord.
No, but they say he says there was a report made to him on assuming command of the investigation that there are allegations, you don't want to call it a theory, there are allegations that the person who allegedly murdered the deceased was inside the house.
Yes, my Lord.
Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying, my lord.
My Lord, then if it was a report that was made to him, then it has to be disclosed. It's a report by who?
Yes, sir.
So, my Lord, I stand up to support the objection of my learned colleague, Advocate Mshololo. Somebody must have actually made such a report. Who is that person for one to make a conclusion that this exists as a theory?
My Lord, we need to look no further than the proposition that was put by Mr. Ngomezulu himself.
What did he say
That
about the theory?
That Longwe is the person who shot the deceased. Now, this is what the witness is saying, and now there's an objection.
This is examination in chief.
Alex?
This is examination in chief. This is the new evidence brought by Brigadier Kinindi in chief in the main trial.
My Lord, we have a lot of ground to cover. We're not going to detain ourselves with such trivialities.
Please, the court, this is not a triviality. I think the state probably used a very inaccurate term there. Because we're also concerned about the source of this report to the effect that the shooter was one of the people in the house. What is the source of that information, or who is the source of that information? That's our concern, because we cannot treat this as just a mere triviality. Can be.
Yes, my Lord, we will deal with that in due course. Brigadier, just perhaps for the record, there was a briefing in this matter when it was assigned to you, is that correct?
That is correct, my lord.
And for the purpose of the record, can you just mention as to who assigned the matter to you?
I received the instruction from then National Commissioner General Sithole. He's the one that gave me the directive, my lord.
ngathola ke isicelo sasuvela kulo wayomkhuzo wamaphoyisa ngaleso sikhathi okwakuGeneral Sithole.
You mentioned that the other members of the team, Lieutenant Colonel Ramuhala, Sergeant Mohola, and Sergeant Mohani, came from the cold case unit. Can you just maybe explain the other members, Warrant Officer Makubo and Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi, how did they come into the picture?
Well, when I was briefed and given the mandate to take command of this investigation, my lord, I was informed that they will form part of this team. They were seconded. As to how, I don't know, but that was the indication to me, and then subsequently we met and then we worked together for some time, but through the difference of opinions, we sort of went to different directions.
Yes. Yeah.
Sergeant Ramukhala noMkhane sasisebenza nabo kulolu daba, kodwa ke uMakhubo noButhelezi ngatshelwa nje ukuthi ke nabo ke bazongena kulolu daba bazosenza nathi ukuthi beza kanjani angizange ngichazele.
Did you know from which units of the police they came from?
Yes, Warrant Officer Makubo was from the DPCI, I think in Germiston. Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi, she was a captain then. She's from the psychologist unit, I think FSL in Pretoria.
uMakhubo yena wayephuma eDPCI eGermiston, uButhelezi wayekapteni ku-psychology unit eSepitoli.
What happened then after the matter was assigned to the team that you led?
Kwasekwenzekani-ke uma seninikezwe ngalo umsebenzi kuleli thimba owawulihola?
Yes, so the first directive that I gave, my lord, is that copies of the docket must be made for each member of the team.
Engaqala ngatshelwa kona ukuthi-ke amakhophi edocket afanele enzelwe wonke amalungu e-team.
That was done, my lord.
Lokho-ke kwenziwa.
The purpose thereof was, which was part of my directive, was so that each and every member of the team can analyze, can read the docket, and make sense as to whether, what happened based on the preliminary evidence. Based on the preliminary statements and evidence that was collected. Can we say they were perpetrators, and who are they, if the docket indicates such? And if there are no perpetrators, what evidence do we have? As I said, we were sitting with the primary thing of establishing whether they were intruders, and if they were intruders, who are they, which was the purpose of dealing with this matter, and in the absence of the intruders, based on the evidence, who were then the perpetrators of this murder of the deceased, my lord.
Manje-ke inhloso yokuthi kwenziwe amakhophi ale docket kwakwenzela ukuthi wonke umuntu okhona lapha kuleli thimba lami akwazi ukubheka ahlaziye ukuthi kwakungabeke kuwobani abenza lento uma kungekho abantu esibatholayo sibheke ukuthi ufakazi obukhona okunjani singabuthola uma kungekho sibheke ukuthi obani ke ababengene lapho behlasela noma kungekho ke lokho siqhubeke nokuphenya.
Now, my lord, after on a specific time where now we obviously had to meet and get together in terms of what we found, it was clear that the views are the same. They still believe that there were no intruders.
Njengoba ke sesitholile lo msebenzi khona ke okwasigcina sibona ukuthi kuyafana ukuthi abekho abebehlasela.
Based on what I've analyzed, I believe there were intruders, my lord.
Kuloko ngangibhekileke mina ngaqaphela ngibonile ukuthi babekhona abantu ababengenile.
Just a minute. Now, who held the view that there were no intruders?
Ubani kwayicanga ukuthi ababengekho abantu ababehlasela.
Warrant Officer Makubu and Lieutenant Colonel Buthelezi were of that view, my lord.
Ababe nalo mqondo Warrant Officer Makubu no Captain Buthelezi.
And I must also admit, my lord, before actually reading the docket thoroughly, I also believed at some stage when we were briefed to say there were no intruders. But obviously, when one looked at the docket, the evidence told me otherwise.
Nami ke ngangingawo nalo umqondo ukuthi babengekho abantu abahlasele kodwa ke uma sengibhekile ngibhekisisile idocket ngabona ukuthi kufanele kube khona ababehlasele.
And what was your initial view based on?
Well, it wasn't
There were
really,
no intruders.
it wasn't really based on any facts, my lord, because it was before I had an opportunity to really look at the docket, except what I was hearing. But when one looked at the docket, and I will deal with what convinced me, my lord, I had to look at certain facts that were contained in the docket, and those facts made me come to a conclusion that there is no other way there were intruders.
Okay, mina oqala umbono wami kwawuphuma nje ekutheni yini engangiyizwile. Kodwa uma sengibheka ke fundisisa idocket ngagcina ngibonile ukuthi egcineni kufanele kube khona abahlaseli ababekhona.
Yes. But perhaps maybe just to deal with it in a more structured way, you make copies for members of all members of the team. You ask them to go and read the evidence and analyze it. What happened thereafter?
So we would have then got together, my lord, where now these different views came up that, there's the two that I've mentioned, the two members believe they were intruders, and we had a view, I had a view, together with Colonel Ramohala, that the evidence suggests that they were intruders. And it is based on that slowly then we went apart. There was no formal arrangement for the team, these other two members, to stop working with us, but they we just went different directions, my lord. And that gave rise to the opening of the docket 375 of 1/2019. I was not aware of it.
Eqaleni ke njengoba sengishilo ukuthi uWarrant Officer Makubu noButhelezi babe nalo mqondo ukuthi babengekho abantu ababehlasele. Mina ke noRamkhala sasibona ukuthi impela bakhona abantu ababekhona ababehlasele. Ilokho kwagcina kwenze ukuthi kube nokwehlukana. Yilapho ke kwavula khona le docket u375 mina nginalwazi olukhulu ngayo.
I learned at a later stage, my lord, after this docket was opened, that it was in existence, and it was suggesting that certain people in the house were involved, or rather.
Menje ke mina ke ngathi gcina sengizwe kamuva ukuthi sekuyikhona le docket ekhona ebiphenya ukuthi ngalo umhlahlandlela ukuthi kwakukhona abantu ababekhona langa phakathi endlini.
Correct, yes. I also heard, my lord, that it dealt with the issue of, I'm just summing up a note that we want us to go there.
Yes, we'll get there. When was this?
Sorry, can I ask the witness to raise his voice? I can hardly hear since I'm far away from the witness.
Yeah.
Are you aware as to who opened this docket for Slaughter's 375-1 of 2019?
Uyazi ukuthi ubani owavula le docket le uFoslorus 375 of 1 of 2019?
Yes, according to the system, my lord, it's warrant Officer Makubo.
Yebo, ngokuya ke ngomshini le docket yavula uWarrant Officer Makubu.
I may also add, my lord, the reason I did not have that much information, I never had sight of this docket. The only time I saw it briefly, not actually perusing it, but seeing the file, was at the DPP's office here in Pretoria on the 29th of January 2020, but seeing the file, not actually the contents, that was the first time.
Ngicela uphawula ukuthi yini indaba enginalwazi olukhulu ngale file le ukuthi nje angizange ngiyibone le file kakhulu into engayenza ukuthi ngiyibone kancane nje ngilunguze kwa DPP ngomhla 21st kuJanuary 2020 January 2020 umhla 29 kuJanuary 2020.
Then the second time was when, my lord, it was ordered, I think in 22 by the court, that it must be disclosed to the defense, and obviously then it was made available to the state advocate, and we had to make copies. I think that would have been 2022 or so. That was already the first time when we were making copies. I actually had sight of it for the first time.
And uthi ngibone okokuqala ila kwakuthiwa khona ke ifanele ke ivezwe futhi yenzelwe ama-copy abameli ila kwenziwa kwaphaka ukuthi ke nathi sikwazi ukuthi siyithole siyibuke.
Are you able to put a month as to when in 2022 that was, when you first had sight of the